on my mind. I want to ask a question to our audience and to you. Where the church is at? Where the church is at? I see COVID running rampant. I see grocery bills through the roof. Where the churches? I don't see people being relieved by these churches that say, come to us, give us your money, and live a better life. I don't see them setting up vaccination spots for their congregation or the people in their community. I don't see them helping alleviate these grocery prices. I don't see them helping to alleviate these gas prices. But they're saying, come to us for relief. Now, again, if your church or your spiritual place of worship is doing that, I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you. But all of you that are out there doing absolutely nothing for our community, I'm talking to your behind. You know who you are, and you can come see me. If I'm lying, you come see me, and I will apologize. But my thing is this: where are the churches that are supposed to be here to relieve at least their congregation and their community? You have people starving, Antoine. People can't afford to buy milk and eggs. Never mind steak. They can't buy milk and eggs. They can't afford to put gas in their car. There's no relief. But still come and give us your tithes and your offerings. And we're going to make a way in the hereafter. But right now, you got to suffer. Again, there are some that are doing it. They're not getting the light of day. So I'm not talking to them. I'm talking about all those that are derelict. I'm talking about all those that are absentee shepherds that are not shepherding and protecting their flock. Those are the ones that I'm talking to, Antoine. What you say? Huh? Did I miss something? Did I miss something? We're in the midst of a war in Ukraine, and they're sending money to Ukraine. And I can't get a social program, I can't get a food program out of a church. I can't get a daycare center, I can't get money for that. But they're sending money for that. And again, I'm not belittling the war or saying it's not terrible. What I'm saying is people are starving here. People are dying here. And churches are collecting money to send it elsewhere when their own parishioners are suffering. That doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody out there tell me. I don't know. What you think? What you think? Huh? Did I miss something? Tell me. I'm just, again, those that are doing, I'm not talking to those. Those that are relieving their community, those that are doing for their community, I'm not talking to them. But there are so many others that are not. There are so many others that are not. I'm not bashing anyone's beliefs. What I'm saying is it needs to make sense. And there's no accountability. If you are starving and you belong to a church and you can't give relief to that church, why do you belong to it? I'm just asking a question.
I know you want to start like this, Herschel.
Hey, come on, Antoine. Don't sit there with a bubble. I see you. I can smell the smoke. Come on with it.
No, there's nothing to say. You know, I think that I suppose I would usually play devil's advocate on something like this, and I think I still will. But I want us to kind of reframe both the question and our expectations. So I think that we need to be specific about what we as a people both need and demand and what we're asking. I think we as a people need to be specific about what we need and demand and what we're asking. So you're asking for a public transit, you're asking for a food bank, you're asking for a daycare, and you're asking for a homeless shelter. You're asking for those things, but you're saying that you want the church to step up and provide it. What I think that we need to be specific about our ask.
I don't know. Wait. I don't know if I'm asking them for them to do it. These are the things that are the tenets of Christianity: brotherly love, relief, truth, feeding the homeless, restoring man, right, and clothing. Listen, I'm only going according.
Facially, those may be the tenets of Christianity, but that's not the tenets of a church. Church is fundamentally a corporation. It exists to be self-sustained. So if a church is not doing, charitable work, perhaps that's not what a church is present for.
Oh, so I'm the dumb. So
I'm saying that if you as a person, if you as a participant in society, if you as a needy person are, if you're joining a church and your expectations are implicit instead of explicit in that church's doctrine or in its practices, then I'm not going to say the problem isn't the church, but I am going to say that your interests should have been foregrounded both before you joined and before you started giving your money.
Okay.
Now, again, me personally, when I think about my goals, when I think about my preferences, I look for organizations that reflect my goals and preferences. So if I want an organization that provides free food, my money will go to a food bank. My money will go to a mutual aid benefit. My money will go to a charitable organization that is whose explicit remit is to do that thing. I'm not going to give it to any willy-nilly building or corporation or nonprofit or church that with the assumption that they're going to do it and they haven't said they're going to do it. So I think that part of the problem is that we have been we have been very there are expectations that come with church membership, that come with Christianity, that come with religious involvement, and those expectations, we foist whether or not they're going to be fulfilled on other people. We expect the pastor to deliver this. We expect the deacon board to deliver this. We expect the church stewards to deliver this. We don't expect to be participants in this ourselves. We don't expect to be organizers for this ourselves. We don't say if you join this you get guaranteed food, and we don't make our churches say that. But that's implicit in why we tithe. That's implicit in why money is given. And I'm saying that perhaps the problem is that you were not direct in what you wanted with an organization, and that was taken advantage of. And perhaps what needs to change is what your direct expectations are. Now, I've said consistently on this show, and I will say it again, that if you want something, first off, it is very easy to start an organization. The church rule where 2 or 3 are gathered, that applies to organizations as well.
That's right.
And that applies to households, that applies to families, that applies to anyone that has a reasonable goal and money to pool. And I'm saying that if you think that a food bank is needed, if you think public transit is needed, if you think homeless shelters are needed, if you think affordable housing is needed, you need to be setting up organizations specifically to fulfill that purpose. You need to be in organizations specifically to fill that purpose. And if you think the church is that organization, fine. But you need to make sure that it is a democratic organization, that where the membership has where there's no hierarchy, where membership has equal say over everyone else. But you also need to make sure that that the purpose of your organizational involvement is explicit. You need to make sure that if something is supposed to be charitable, you need to make sure that charity is quantified. You need to make sure that is understood as a reason for joining, and you need to go the next step with it. But I think that when it comes to what is materially required, I think that too much has been left to chance, and too much has been left to outsourcing to other parties. And what we require, and part of what power to the people means, is that the people take direct control over the things which influence their lives. Now, again, in an ideal circumstance, a place where you give potentially 10% of your income, a place where you have been at for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, a place that you know has a paid-for van, would be a place that you should be able to expect to go to if you wanted to go to a grocery store. If it is not that place, you need to ask some questions. You need to ask some adult questions. You need to make some adult considerations. And that's what I have to say about that.
That's what you have to say about it. Again, it has to make sense. We are already in a bad position at no fault of our own. We constantly talk about the enemy and things that are against us, the judicial system and things like that. But the enemy is the enemy, whether it's inside or out. If you have people taking advantage of our community from inside, they are just as guilty, if not more. Anytime that you're stealing resources from our poor and underprivileged, and they're staying poor and underprivileged, and your organization is enriching itself, whether it be a church, a civic organization, or anything, then there is a problem. There is a problem.
What do you say?
We are inundated with churches and liquor stores in our community. Churches and liquor stores we're inundated with.
And then, ironically, they do serve the same function.
Yeah, right, to make you feel good. But in all seriousness, anything that's taken from our community is detrimental. If the church serves its function as it touts. Again, as it touts, reality and what it is two different things. If it's being sold as a place for refuge, as a place for sanctuary, as a place to turn your life around, and you are still in the same position after 5 years, Antoine, after 10 years, you still struggling, something's wrong.
Well, that actually
Something's
goes to another part of that, because I actually don't think that churches necessarily sell themselves like that as such. Here's the thing. Churches are not there to pay your bills. Churches are there to ensure that you have a place in heaven. It's there for spiritual enrichment. It is there for to ensure that you are quote unquote living correctly, and to ensure that you as an adult are doing it. Now, when someone joins a church, they're joining with the expectation that spiritual fulfillment is sufficient enough to sustain them in the hereafter. So, what responsibility does an organization that's supposed to be building your hopes on things eternal, Herschel? What is an organization like that supposed to be doing with stuff on the earthly plane?
Wow. Well, I put it like this: if that is the thing, if what you say is true, then there is no need for money. Don't go nowhere. If that's the case, there's no need for money, Pastor. What? I told you it's on and popping this morning. Don't tell me that. If I can't buy my way into heaven, you don't need my money. Somebody tell me if I'm wrong. Huh? Am I wrong, Antoine? I'm saying. Antoine on the floor here. I'm just saying. It gotta make sense.